Oh, remember to turn your devices down for your phones. So you can share it. We're already live. You can share it, but just make sure that you turn your devices down on your phone.
Okay, cool.
Your phone. All right. So we came. My name is Tony McNeil. I'm a community organizer with Faith in the Valley in the San Joaquin County. Zani, introduce yourself.
Um, Afternoon, everybody. My name is Zonnie Thompson. I'm a community organizer with Faith in the Valley, San Joaquin as well.
And I'm Marcel Woodruff, an organizer of Faith in the Valley out of Fresno. Had to jump in there. I was next, right? I had to jump on in there. So, here you.
You did. I'm proud of you, Marcel. You did good.
Yeah, I'm taking initiative in here.
And so what we wanted to do was just tap in for about 30 minutes in regard to what is taking place in Minnesota. Is it Minnesota?
It's in that region.
It's in that region. So Marcel, do you know what's going on down there or what's happening? Can you give us a quick overview?
Yeah, I do. A young man by the name of Dante was pulled over as a result of having a air freshener hanging in his window. The cops then proceeded to pull him over. In the midst of pulling him over, they found out he had a warrant. We found out later the warrant was something really minor, like failing to appear to a court because the actual summons was sent to the wrong address. So the whole thing is bogus. And shocked by the fact that he had a warrant and unprepared for it, he went back into the vehicle. As he went back into the vehicle, the officers wrestled with him. And while they were wrestling with him, one officer fired a firearm at him. He drove off and he died as he was driving. And the officer's claim is that she thought that she had her taser, but it was actually her firearm. And so she accidentally killed him by deploying a firearm when she thought it was a taser.
Mm-hmm. So what's going on? I know that it's crazy. I've been looking at the news, and it looks like there's a lot of turn up right now that's taking place down there. Is that true?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the climate is right now. We have the Chauvin trial in the same region. It's just happening almost a year apart to George Floyd, and so like there is a sense of urgency, and there's a high level of temperament around like really getting reform and change now, and holding police accountable for this kind of stuff. So the temperature out there is hot, which it should be.
I wanted to also partner this with some. So of course, here in Stockton, we've got Devin Carter, who was a 17-year-old youth who was severely beaten, abused by law enforcement officers in Stockton. 2 of the officers out of the 4 that were present, 2 were fired, and then 2 of them, were received some type of a I don't know, disciplinary action, but we're not quite sure what that is yet. And are back at work, and so. That's what we're dealing with here. And then we do have a history, of those. We have Antoine, who was shot and killed by law enforcement officers last year. And so, I mean, we've got a history of that. And so, do you guys have that same type of temperature that is taking place, in Fresno?
No. I think Fresno right now. So we recently had an officer who was fired as a result of being a Proud Boy, and so there's like there's temperature around how white supremacy has kind of infiltrated the police department. If you want to say it's infiltrated, some would say it's always been there. It's in the DNA of policing as it is, right? And so as Fresno is becoming more aware of that, and this blatantly obvious example, there is a sense of urgency around holding PD accountable, but what's happened newly hasn't really bled in yet. I mean, I think that people are already traumatized and they're already holding so much that there wasn't any space to figure out like what do we do in a lot of this. It's like something else on the pot. So. But it's coming.
I also seen something. So is it Maryland or somewhere where they actually did some type of a repeal when it came to the police officers' Bill of Rights?
Yeah, Maryland banned it. Yep.
It banned it.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing.
They stripped the police officers' Bill of Rights, and so there's more layers of accountability now in Maryland. The first state to do it.
Wow. And so I was seeing that, and then I seen a post that on a tweet actually, that was lifted up by our former mayor, our previous mayor. I don't want to say former. Former means they're no longer existing. So the previous mayor, Mayor Michael Tubbs, who was lifting that up as an example of what California needs to do. But then I also seen where the Stockton Police Officers Association clap back literally and openly. Oh yeah. I have to pull that up so that I can read it because I found that thing to be very interesting. I was like, okay, so the SPOA clapped back openly, and was like, okay, and so the former mayor, would say such a thing. And I was like, okay, so this is really some stuff. While I'm looking for that, the other thing that I wanted to bring into this space real quick, and so we're going somewhere with this, is that last year, when we were the youth were doing some demonstrating in Lodi, Zani, and it was youth and young adults. It was about 30 of them, Black Lives Matter organ demonstrations and stuff, and they had a huge turnout of the Proud Boys. These were Trump supporters, Blue Lives Matter, just all of that. It was hundreds of them showed up. They had chainsaws, they had guns, they had rifles, they had bats, they had all of this stuff. 30 youth, and they were surrounding us. They were calling me all kind of names. You nigger B, you this, all of that. You guys are racist. Nigger lovers. I mean, they just really went in. And come to find out, a significant amount of those individuals were actually correctional officers and law enforcement officers. So, I mean, is that shocking or surprising?
Not at all.
No. Did you say, oh no?
I said not at all.
Okay. And so when you guys just had a rally, a White Lives Matter rally, or was it?
No. So we have this historic area in Fresno called the Tower District that has historically been really hospitable to the LGBTQ community and just kind of like just really not fringe, but just really dynamic and liberated space. And recently, this really strong evangelical church decided they want to move in that space, and they have historically been anti-LGBTQ. And so, we don't mind you guys existing, but the community didn't want them in that space. And so the community began to rally and protest in order to really advocate for the church that's been historically LGBTQ to not hold this space. And that triggered Proud Boys to show up on that church's behalf to begin to combat with like your brown berets, your clergy, and your LGBTQ community who were advocating for them not to be there. So like they kind of showed up in defense of this church. And so that happened. So Sunday, as a result of the Proud Boy being fired, the Proud Boys are agitated and they show up and they're agitating. I think one person got punched, and it's just them kind of trying to dox people and agitate people. So we're dealing with that.
So the Proud Boys, do the Proud Boys have a presence in law enforcement?
Yeah, I mean, so there was a Fresno police officer who just fired because he came out as being a Proud Boy.
So what is a Proud Boy?
So it's the far left, right wing organization that I'm trying to watch my language, man. I don't want to speak for them. I would say it's a far left, right wing organization that's really heavy in chauvinistic principles and racist principles. It's been classified as an extremist group.
Okay. So I can't just say it's a game, right?
Could I mean you could say it's a gang. I mean, but it's hard, man, because we do the whole gang intervention work out here in Fresno, and the thing is, like, if me or Zani get pulled over and we just happen to be with somebody in the gang, we might get a gang. We might get all these things that come a part of being associated with a gang. And I never seen a Proud Boy get a gang enhancement, right? I never seen a Proud Boy get, I never seen that, and so I think that they are, but the way that gangs function racially in the world, and the way we racialize it, in a way where we penalize Black and brown boys harsher, I would separate the categories so we can say, no, these are two completely different things. This is an extremist group that's bent on dominance, and this is another group that's where peers are coming together to figure out how to support themselves in a space that's racially oppressed them for all their lives.
Okay. So it is safe to say then that if any of our law enforcement officers are identified as being or flagged as being a part of a member of the Proud Boys, that they should be dismissed as law enforcement.
Yeah, you can call them terrorists. I would be okay. You call them terrorists.
Oh, so you can call them a terrorist, but a terrorist doesn't have to be a registered as a gang member.
I would call them terrorists.
That's interesting to me. It's interesting to me that a black and brown individual, blood, crip, all of that different stuff, get all kind of gang enhancements. Even children are registered sometimes as gang members simply because they are by default born into a family that might have been affiliated with a gang, but proud boys, whatever you want to call them, can be racist and all of this stuff, and even quote unquote considered terrorists. However, not have to be considered a gang and have to suffer the consequences of those enhancements. That's a whole nother conversation. I just got agitated just even talking about it. So now, Zani, yesterday I was talking to you. Now, all of us are Faith in the Valley staff, and all of us do restorative justice work, just so that y'all know. We all work on live-free issues when it comes to police accountability, police. We won't even say reform, because how in the heck would you reform something that was that was toxic, and an issue from the gate. We work on decarceration, all of that different stuff. So we work in some of the same areas. Zani, yesterday, what we did was decided as a staff, because we do a lot of organizing in these areas, that we were going to take a wellness day. Marcel, I'm going to come back to you on the wellness day part of it in a second. So we were going to take a wellness day. We needed to take some time in order to, just make sure we were taking care of ourselves. And so what was your wellness day like yesterday?
Ooh, my wellness day started off with thinking and just reflecting on the current state that we are in as a country, and just the fear of being a Black man in this country. Then, I decided to go to the market, I guess, because it's a wellness day. Why not run some errands? And on my way to the market, I get pulled over by a cop. And instantly, I start thinking, like, as if this was a life or death situation, and that every move that I made would be crucial to whether or not I made it out. So instantly, I pull over, but I kept my car in drive just in case if I seen the cop even reach for a gun. I was ready to, do what I needed to do to get out of the situation. I had my brother on the phone with me. He was sitting there silent, listening to the whole thing. And I had my hands up and I was shaking and my heart was beating like uncontrollably fast. And the first thing that the cop does is look at me with my hands up and kind of visibly get annoyed and then say, "You can put your hands down." And the first thing that I thought was here I am, like in a situation where I could possibly die. And this man is thinking about politics and getting annoyed and thinking you could put your hands down. Can I though? It's like, it's just wild to think like, how are you going to see what's going on and then get annoyed because I'm being cautious?
Do you
So
think that he was annoyed?
I could see.
Or do you think that it was off-putting for him to show up? Do you think it was off-putting, or do you think that he was annoyed?
Nah, I don't think it was off-putting. I think he was annoyed. Like, to me, the energy that I got and the message that I got from the way he said it and his demeanor and stuff was like, here goes another one of them, like trying to be extra. You can put your hands down.
So Marcel, I want to ask, so is Zani putting 20s on this? I mean, are we over dramatizing this? I mean, for real, like maybe we just putting extra on this.
What's going on, church, man? I see you pop in. Yeah, I don't think we are, man. So I do work with PD a lot, and there is this hypersensitivity because in the moment, and they feel as if they're being vilified, right? Like they're the victims, and so
Exactly.
And so because when I've never been arrested, I've never been in jail, but I've been put over tons of times, and so a lot of times I've been put over. I've been asked to put my hands out the window because they see me and they think I'm, they think that I'm in danger. And so that happened recently, and the cop got agitated about it. Like, oh man, you must have be system impacted. You must have been done some time in jail. You must have done this, you must have done that. I'm like, nah, man, this is the way that you guys operate. This is how you've conditioned me to move in the world. And now that you're under the microscope, be sensitive about it. This is how you guys have always moved.
Church, how you doing?
I'm better than
That's
some,
a
worse
loaded
than most.
question. That's a loaded question. The more I talk about this, the more agitated I get. So this is just an impromptu conversation, just to create a little bit of space to let some of the air out of the balloon. And so how you doing? How the folks doing in your neck of the woods?
So we talking about like just feelings or like
Yeah,
towards the
just
police or
yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I think a lot of people right now are more or less just I wouldn't say scared, more or less tired. And I wouldn't even use tired as a word. Fed up. Fed up is more of the word I think I'm looking for. People are fed up, and it's to the point to where we're fed up because not only do we know what's going on and they're allowing us to see what's going on, but they're acting like we don't see it and we don't know. And they're trying to tell us. It's almost like when someone when you know someone's lying to you and you like know for a fact you have all the evidence and everything, but they still try to act like you don't know what you're talking about. Like they're so convinced to the lie that it's almost like they can't tell the truth anymore. So it's like it's sickening to the point to where I'm worried about police officers, but at the same time I'm worried about these young cats in the streets. And I don't, it doesn't make sense. Everything you do is like somebody shot Josh 5 times in his back, and this dude promotes nonviolence, buckets not bullets, healing the community, and you shoot him over an argument over a parking space. Like it doesn't make sense. And then in turn, you get pulled over and you're scared to even pull out your driver's license, your registration, because you don't know if they're going to shoot you. So now it's like, how do you live life if you can't live in the community you love and you help raise them up and you can't trust the people who are supposed to protect and serve? So I don't know. That's pretty much a loaded question. But me personally, I enjoy life every day. I love life every day. I don't care what the circumstances is, how bad I feel. I just want to find a moment of the day in life to where I could find something of love and hold on to it for the rest of the day.
Marcel, I see you come off mute.
No, I mean, so Church's statement made me think of something. So, Church, they say I read this book, man, called Pedagogy of the Oppressed. And it talks about how those who are oppressed, violence has to manifest itself horizontally because we don't have the power to manifest it vertically, right? We can't just going up in arms and overthrow police, overthrow the government. And so that pressure that gets built up, that anger that gets built up, that pain that gets built up, we then express it to one another, right? So you're like, man, this dude over here, we can't trust these people, and he getting shot over a parking spot. To me, it really registered like how oppression manifests itself in our community, where it's not I can't just be scared of him. I gotta be scared of the pain that he caused him too, because he might hurt me,
Yeah, that's real. My boy said one of my little bros told me something that was major. I was talking about Josh and I was just expressing how sad I was. And Josh replayed it to me and it registered to my mind what he was actually saying. He was like, man, what makes it even worse that you got shot is the person that shot you was actually shooting at their self. Interesting. Like, and then you put that in perspective, it's like, damn, man. It's like, you just think about all the trauma you hold on to and all the pain you hold on to and how you didn't know how to deal with it and how you used to feel. And then you put it all in perspective, like, man, hurt people, bro. Like,
yeah.
You can't even have a disagreement and come to a terms where we just disagree, but I'm going to allow you to go on about your day. I have to take your life for this disagreement. In turn, I'm taking not only your life, your kids' life from them, your wife's life. I'm taking my life, my family's life. Everything's changed. It doesn't make sense.
It's not just about disagreement, right? It's about like I had a bad day and getting kicked out of my apartment. It's all the buildup. It's the buildup that led to disagreement, and so now I'm taking out on you, church, man. I had enough.
Don't make no sense. And in turn, I'm going through the same thing you going through. We just different people.
Exactly.
I was checking on a loved one, that was recently shot, and just tapping in with them to make sure that they were good. And there was something, that I heard, and They, they went to the hospital, they were treated, they were sent home with no pain medication at all, right? They got shot. And the doctor that they seen, at the county hospital was like, they said that their interpretation is that, this doctor it just seemed tired, frustrated, and it just is normalized, folks coming in with gun violence, bullets and all this different stuff. And so, well, we don't give pain medication to Black people because, they have a high tolerance for addiction, and different things. I said, what? Yeah, it was like, yeah, that, like, yeah, ma, this was, what they said, whoop, whoop, whoop. And I was like, okay. And then that you have thicker skin. Black people seem to have thicker skin, and a higher tolerance for pain is what was said. And so, I mean, and even that today, so yesterday, I didn't even feel like I needed to tap out. Today, I find myself getting more and more agitated as I'm listening, right? Because you got to, as organizers, right? Don't we have to listen? We got to lean in and talk to our folks, find out how they doing, check in with them. And the more I'm checking in and the more I'm hearing, the more pissed off I'm getting, which means I probably am going to have to tap out. I just didn't need to yesterday. And so, Marcel, we were talking about where we are as a people and how the folks on the ground are feeling about a thing. How are we processing this on the ground?
I don't know what I'm seeing at church, too. I mean, what I'm seeing is we've normalized and found these things normative for so long that a lot of cats they aren't processing it yet. I mean, it's not here yet. We know it's real, but we deal with so much else that's real that it's not here yet. We haven't registered it yet. And so you have some groups like my homies who's like 9 to 5, they like traumatized. They call it mental health days, and you got cats that's on the ground, like in the block, doing the day-to-day struggle, doing the day-to-day survival thing. It hasn't even really registered for them yet because they're still in that mode of surviving, man. So, but I think it's going to register sooner than later. But it's and how are we going to be there for them when it does, right?
So are we going to be prepared? What does that look like? What do you think that it's going to be the pulse when it does hit?
I mean, it's if we don't have outlets to cope and heal in a way that's restorative and and progressive, then I think it's going to result in violence, right? They're either like what Church is talking about, it's violence to my brother, or self-harm. I think that's what it looks like. I think it's self-harm or violence to our community, and we don't want that. So we got to be. We don't have a choice but to be prepared for it.
I think that statement Tony had made was true. Like what they said about Black people in pain. Like, I think that the sad part about that whole situation is that they were probably telling you the exact truth, just for the simple fact that when we're born, we already have pain, and we already have a certain level of things that we have to deal with from a mindset form of our parents and the lifestyle we're born into. So when it comes to Black people and dealing with stuff, we do deal with stuff different from everybody else because it's already intertwined in our mindset. Like
That we have to be stronger.
Excuse my language, bro, but it's fucked up. Like, it's true. Like, it's fucked up that we have to be stronger. We have to have more willpower. We have to think more. Like, it's right. And I'll take you in turn that we're just more gifted. Like, we take it as a slight to us or a disadvantage, but it's actually an advantage. Like, we have more than you have, and we just have to apply it.
Church, that's a myth. It's a myth and it's a narrative. Even when it came to the strong Black woman, that's some false narrative, mythical mess and madness that was projected upon us, being able to because we were able to actually be beat and whipped and have skin torn off of us and all of that different stuff, and then go out, pick cotton and work on the plantation from sun up to sundown, not eat, endure being raped and brutalized and breeded off and sold off and split and all of that different stuff. And that's a lie. We don't have thicker skin. We don't have stronger capacity for pain. We don't have a higher tolerance for pain. And that's why I believe what Marcel said and what you're saying is true. That's why we are shooting at ourselves, hurting ourselves, imploding. I mean, it's like we're exploding here, in our communities. We are exploding in so many different ways. So I don't even know. Do we have capacity to have empathy right now for law enforcement as a community? Is that something that we should be driving and trying to foster?
I think we should. I think we do. Not all cops are bad. Like we see it on TV and we see the videos of the examples of what not to do, but in turn we need the empathy from them to hold those other people accountable. Like we can't be mad at them for things you're doing that we can't control. Like we can get mad and say we can protest all we want, but if police don't start holding police accountable, it's not gonna fucking matter. Like we can feel how we want, and then in turn
Protesting.
we're just gonna start holding everybody. Like because if you think about it, like 9 times out of 10, if you get pulled over as a black man, this is how I process it. Okay, I'm looking at the police officer. Even if it's a black police officer, I still get the same feeling. Like I'm just scared. Like I don't, because it's a program situation that they have as Blue Lives Matter. So they all think the same. It's not like one thing's different. It's just, do they want to be different? So when you get pulled over, it's like, do I react the way they want me to react, or do I carry myself with respect no matter what the situation is?
That's the thing. But if we do that, aren't we just perpetuating white supremacy? Because white supremacy wants to recenter itself. Like we heard a black body, oh, we didn't know better, teach us, or black bodies are stronger than other bodies. You know what I'm saying? They'll be okay, but they continue to center us in our narratives. And so how do we not recenter them? How do we take up space in this moment and say, you guys need to figure your stuff out? It's not our responsibility to do that. But we're gonna hold you accountable to do it while we heal ourselves.
Exactly. We hold ourselves accountable. They hold themselves accountable, and we can meet in the middle with accountability.
Zonnie, what were you going to say?
I was actually just going to draw it back to, we've kind of switched the subject now, but I was going to draw it back to, like, you guys have mentioned multiple times, like, the trauma and what Tony was saying about, like, you know, slavery and stuff, and the reason why, like, trauma within the Black community is real, and that's why we are where we are now, and it just keeps happening over and over again. So when you say, like, on the streets, Marcel, you're seeing a numbness, it's because it's like every other day, it seems like we're seeing that a Black man is being killed or being harassed or something by the police, right? This man just died about 10 miles from where George Floyd took his last breath. Like that's ridiculous. And it's like the generational trauma is what we have to deal with, like, every day as Black people. And so, like, when you're saying, like, do police deserve empathy? It's like, yes, we realize that all police aren't bad, but, like, if you're being silent while your other fellow police officers are out there doing their dirt, then as far as I'm concerned, you're just as bad. So you don't deserve no empathy just because you physically didn't do anything.
So you said, you know, that, and I'm not arguing with y'all. And I promise you, I'm maybe, I don't know. I'm not even going to, you know, forget it. I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to just say this. So all Black men aren't bad either, you know? So I'm feeling emotional. I'm mad as hell. I'm angry. You know, I'm fed up, man. Marcel, you ain't never been to jail, but you've been pulled over, you know, and so the automatic assumption, you being pulled over, you know, you Black, you know, you must be bad, you must be a criminal, you must be this. They don't look at you and see somebody that has a degree. They don't look at you and see somebody that is educated, you know. You have to literally articulate yourself, you know, and present yourself as in a packaged form in order for folks to draw a conclusion. Because when they look at you, they see a thug, they see a Black man, they see a potential threat. Same with you, church, you know. Yeah.
When I look at him, that's what I see. Like, so should I be madder at myself, or
No,
should I
I
be
mean, but
madder at the
is that
system?
not
And
hell? I was
that's what I'm
conditioned to
saying. So
see all of y'all like that.
the question I'm getting to is, should we be madder at each other that we're not standing with each other, or should we keep blaming the system for doing it to us? Because now we're recognizing what the system is doing, but we're still doing the same thing to ourselves. How do we expect them to value our life if we're not valuing it also? That's what I'm getting to.
I think what you're naming is the way that we've internalized the system. Like, you know, like, so we live in this seed that's feeding this to us, and so now, and we've internalized that in a way where that we see each other the way the system sees us. And so I think the pathway forward is healing. How do we heal from that? Like like W.B. Du Bois talks about the double consciousness of the black mind, right? How we're both black and white because we operate in a space that's been dominated by white people. And so in order to really heal, we have to extract that whiteness from ourselves and rediscover ourselves as ourselves and heal together, man. So I think you named it right, man, but I think it's a healing thing and an accountability thing.
I think, but when we look for healing, we have to heal ourselves. We can't look for them to heal for us.
Not them. Yeah, we healing ourselves. This is us.
Like if we heal, like just imagine if me, you, and my brother here, if we had a power to protect ourselves, no matter what the case was, and when we present ourselves as one, then it'll be harder for them to knock us off because now they're knocking off a whole row of people, which they can't do. But if they separate us and catch us one by one, each how they do, and they keep taking us apart, and then we keep making the excuse like, oh, it's a system thing, but we're not sticking together. So when they find that, it's like, okay, they don't value each other. So it's easy for us not to value them because they don't value each other until something happens. We have to start valuing each other, in my opinion, before something happens and start letting them motherfuckers know that it's not just one of us, it's the whole field. Like if we come together like a rock, you can't break a rock with one punch, bro, or one throw. True story, bro. You're gonna have to literally repeatedly try to fuck that rock up, excuse my language, y'all, just to break that rock. But once you catch that little baby rock that's already chipped off, it'll be easier to chip that thing down more and more. See what I'm saying? So if we keep allowing them to do it as we see it, I mean, it is a system thing, but when is it time for us to start breaking the system? Like, when is it time for us to just start holding ourselves accountable? Like, let's stop allowing them to do this to us. When it happens, let's just take action. Let's come on, man. I'm just saying. We be having this conversation. I know I've had this conversation with you and Tony for sure, at least once, and I be coming to the same conclusion. Like at the end of the day, I don't think they're ever going to give a damn about us until we start giving a damn about us more than they do, or more than we expect them to.
There was something that Charles said that I wanted to acknowledge as well.
I got to jump, Tony.
Okay. And that is that Black men are looked at as an increased threat. Your ability to articulate, love you, Sal. Thank you, Beth. Your ability to articulate provides an opportunity for them to feel de-escalated. And so I almost wish that he was here in order for him to expound on that a little bit more, and I probably will. So this was intentionally an impromptu conversation to let some air out of the balloon. I also wanted to.
Oh, that's crazy.
Look, and I mean, it's like, and here, see, I just, hi, baby.
My guy,
Mama.
what's good, man?
Church, what it is?
How you doing, son?
I first want to tell y'all I love y'all, man. You know, I don't get to see y'all all the time. I don't see y'all, talk to y'all, but I love y'all, man. You know, with all that's going on in this here world, man. You know, Miss Tony, you already know. Church, you know, I love y'all, man. Like y'all was my own blood, and you know, I
Same
can't
here,
say it
bro.
no different, man. Like.
So you know me, so this is me, the mom in me is checking in. And so, and you know, I gotta tap in with y'all. I love you guys very much so, and you guys are on the ground doing the work. And so I'm checking in, and I'm checking in across territories and regions. And so, how you doing down there?
I'm all right. I'm maintaining my sanity, still trying to make sure I do for the people, man. I'm you know, every day I'm channeling my own little Black Panther within wherever, you know, and making sure I do what I can for the people, you know.
Okay. And how are the folks on the ground dealing with this situation that's just occurred?
I mean, you got a lot of people who may be kind of baffled by it, and a lot of people who are angry for good reason, and then you got those who are, you know, just following the trend, you know, and I think that's where, you know, we find ourselves stuck in the violence, you know, because we got those who just want to keep up with the Joneses and make it sound good, and they end up saying things that they, you know, that they really shouldn't say, or get in a space where they really shouldn't be. And you know, I think right now it's just a lot of opinions that really need to just kind of mellow out and slow down, and we kind of
Mhm.
strategize and understand what's going on rather than letting our
Mhm.
emotions just talk about it, you know.
Yeah, I feel you on that. So do you think eventually in church, I'm sorry, before I ask that question, because we only have a few more minutes, church, you would, when I asked how our folks dealing with it on the ground, I seen your reaction, your face, all of that. And so what was that about?
That's it's back to how I started. Like people are fed up. Like it's no way they can keep making these excuses for these situations. Like I don't even. I stopped watching. I've never watched a George Floyd video. I didn't even have to watch it. I can just picture it. I heard my wife was watching one day and I heard him say, "Mama, I didn't. I never picked up anything after that. I don't even like watching it no more because it's to the point to where it's like." It's almost like you're reading the same book over, like it's one of your favorite books, so you keep reading it. But I don't like it, so I don't even want to see it no more. I'm just ready to start putting solutions down. And I see people like my bro was saying, like I see people they saying a lot of stuff, but they saying a lot of the wrong shit and doing a lot of the wrong shit just because they're trying to follow the wave. So I wait for the wave to die down of people who get woke once something happened, and then just get back to work. Man, it's sick. I can't even explain how I want to explain it because it's not even an explanation.
It's like we at a point where we constantly allowing ourselves to watch these people execute us, bro. And you know, we get to the point where we have conversation and dialogue about how we're being killed, and these folks watching that, you know, they see, you know, how emotionally charged folks is, and how emotionally charged folks want to be. I mean, it's a show to them folks, man, and we can't keep on allowing it to happen, you know, to a point where, you know, we just continue over and over to turn the other cheek. That's violent. That's violent to us. Like we're creating violence that we're allowing to happen to ourselves in many ways. You know, that's just my opinion. You know.
I think
Mm-hmm.
every time something happens, just a wave of momentum that just doesn't get followed once everything quiets down. Like
Right.
if
That's
you
true.
think about how we were after, like we were in full quarantine. I was scared to come outside. George Floyd shit happened. I was outside with a group of everybody. I didn't give a damn what was going on. But like 3 weeks after that momentum came, wasn't nobody doing it no more. It was like, oh, I thought everybody was on the wave that we were on, but they was just on the wave of getting put on TV and marching and seeing like this and Black Lives Matter posts. So I don't know. I think people just got to start taking it serious when it's not on TV.
Yeah, we gotta stop publicizing our own trauma, man. We making it to a point where we turn it into a political view for others, you know, as if our life is politics, you know, and you know that's why it keeps happening. In my opinion, man, you got a lot of folks, you know, they just like this stuff with the lieutenant dude, man. And the police who had a gun at his face, he knew that camera was there, man. That was
Why
an
it
act
keeps
for him,
happening, in my
you know.
opinion, man. You got a lot of.
And in many ways, you know, that act, you know, led him to whatever gonna happen to him in his life. But you got these people out here acting, man. They're literally shooting us for the sake of being said that they shot or had a hand at shooting at, or you know, killing us, man. And you know, it's turning to a point where we're allowing a business, a corporation, to tell us that they have authority over what we do, think, breathe, and eat. You know, and that's where they, you know, it's really getting to a point where, you know, they beside themselves now. You know, it's not just, you know, crazy no more, man. These people are beside themselves. You know, it's clear that, you know, while we out here trying to, you know, hold them accountable, man, they don't have no accountability, man. It's just plain and simple, man. The accountability does not lie on their departments, nowhere, no how, no, you know, no ifs, ands, or buts. So, I mean, until we figure out a way for us to police ourselves, you know, and discontinue the violence within our community, we're not going to be able to rely on those folks to do it for us. It's not for us, man. They were put in their place to stop us from committing crimes, you know, quote unquote, as they say, crime happens and crime is, you know. So, you know, from beginning to end, we allowing these people to tell us how to live and breathe, but at the same time, they lynching us publicly.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, how's it going? How's it going, gentlemen?
Big problem.
So this is all of my blessings, for sure. All of my blessings, not even all of them. So I promise you, but whenever I see all of you guys' faces show up in different ways, and Charles is another young one, you know, that much like a son. So in fact, I'm gonna even tell y'all when the white man was holding me against my will, Charles, Lady Trina told me to go ahead and call it what it was. So when he was holding me hostage and wouldn't let me leave, Charles was Charles figured out strategically, and I don't know how the heck he did it, where I was at, and came from out of town where he was, to where I was, and I be feeling strong and stuff and all of that. But I promise you, when I seen my son in the spirit walk up, oh my God, I'm telling you, I felt covered and I felt like I could let my guard down, you know, and do a thing. That's a whole nother conversation in itself, what it is to be a Black woman, to actually know how to be covered by Black men. So I love you, for real, for real, for real. Yeah, we just tapping in. So what say you? You put a comment out here. Black men are looked at as an increased threat. Before I even have you dig into that, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm at the shop. Actually, I just getting some work done, and I got a chance to chime in and listen in. And I love the conversation. I love what you guys are talking about and how you guys are dealing with the topic. I think is very, very important and very necessary, especially in this time that we have these conversations and that we deal with these things collectively, so that as we go back to our prospective communities, we can move a little bit different.
Oh, for me, it wasn't a matter of, I just wanted to, I feel like we're going to need to have popcorn conversations, you know, in order to just let some of the air out of balloons and create safe spaces, for us to actually, you know, come together. And so before we even talk about the safe spaces, Charles, you made a comment, right here. Black men are looked at as an increased threat, and your ability to articulate provides an opportunity for them to feel de-escalated. Say more about that.
So I think inherently when we walk into these situations with these police officers, because we are African American, because we are typically bigger, because of just, you know, the things that are portrayed in the media and everywhere else, we're inherently always seen as a threat, which is not necessarily, it's not right. Let me say that first and foremost. And it's not supposed to be an opportunity for them to feel like they need to be able to address us any differently. Nonetheless, that fact is what it is. And I've had several situations myself where, you know, them not knowing who I am, but me being compliant, me being articulate, automatically de-escalated the situation.
Hmm.
The point where they'll even let me go. Like, hey, you were complicit. Thank you. Have a good day. Right. I want to say that I say that to say this. That threat piece is the piece that's bothersome, right?
Hmm.
We have to look at and be able to be looked at as humans first, not subhumans, not more threatening than anyone else, not more aggressive than anyone else, nothing more than just a human being. I think once we get to that place, even in this system, and I think that the system is horrible. I know we've talked a lot about dealing with the people and having empathy for the police. The reality for me is that I could have empathy for a person, but I can't have empathy for a system that's built to destroy.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
built to demean us. That's built to kill us. I don't have any empathy for that system. I do have empathy for a person that was trained in that system, because you're still human yourself. But nonetheless, you're being taught how to be this particular person. But going back to that earlier point, we have to get past this point of, you know, and I have a very good friend in Teray, and she's on the East Coast, and we talk about it a lot. But we talk about how inherently we are viewed, and how we need to be able to get past that part, right? Get past the part of being viewed as aggressive, get past the part of being viewed as anything else but a human being, like any other human being, a white male or a white woman or anyone else. Getting past that part to where you just see the individual and you address the situation the same way all the time, right? Not where there's an increased level of threat here and a decreased level of threat there, and depending on the type of car they drive and all this other BS. We really have to get to a place where the stop is what the stop is, and you handle it with the sense of care, the same sense of care every single time.
So when you said that I can have empathy for a person, but not the system, I think that that's the first time, Charles, that I have ever heard it articulated so well. To separate the two entities. When Zani told me, hey Toya, when Zani told me about his encounter, and so Zani's leaving, yesterday he gets in the car, he's going to go to the store, he's being pulled over. Immediately his body and he begins to react in the typical way that someone who is Black responds. Hands up, while he's in the car. But then in his mind, he was like, Sister Tony, I left the engine running because I just was like, and I was looking because if they reached for their weapon, I was gonna just, drive off. And for me, I was deeply hurt to hear him problem solving how he was going to respond to a potential threat that is systemic.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that we process things that way. And there's nothing that we can really do about it, right? And that's just a reality for us. I feel like we've been put in that position so many times. I got a brand new car, man, with all the right plates and registrations and everything else like that. But even in that moment, as soon as a police officer gets behind me for more than 3 seconds, I start to feel anxiety. And if you drive with me for any length of time, I get more and more and more anxious. And I don't like that feeling. I think all of us deal with that, right? We all deal with that. On some level, we deal with that. And that's BS, you know? And I think that the trauma for me behind that whole situation is that in my mind, I feel like I don't deserve to have to feel that way towards somebody that's supposed to be there to protect me. Like in my mind, I want to be the person that and it's going to sound crazy, but it's real for me. I want to be the white person that when the cops are behind them, they really don't pay it any attention. It's no mind. It's no big thing. They're just behind me. Right. And like, I don't have, and even in the best situation, I'm literally like, I have all the right paperwork in my car and I still feel anxious. I know I don't have a gun. I know I don't have a record. I know I don't have drugs, but yet I still feel anxious. And I imagine that about 90% of African Americans feel that way.
Yes.
And that's horrible. And the fact that we haven't dealt with that trauma, and the police and the systems that the police are teaching haven't dealt with that trauma, that's a problem. We're not dealing with that reality. And you have to look at that. If you're a police chief, that's one of the things that I will look at, right? Like, how do I literally figure out a way to help to decrease this trauma that these people have whenever they see us? And then you wonder why we feel threatened, right? Because it's energy, right? So yeah, I feel nervous. I feel nervous. We're both nervous in this situation. And now any move I make, I'm thinking it's going to trigger you. And second to that, any move you make is going to trigger me. So there's just a lot going on there, a lot to process. And Brother Zuni, I apologize that your situation was like that, but I definitely feel that struggle. I feel that pain. I feel that plight. And I feel like it's not our responsibility to fix it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Charles.
I'm just saying we didn't create it, so it's not our responsibility to fix it. And if you're going to deal with policing and you're going to deal with the system, that's something that you need to fix. That's something that you need to figure out how to fix. It's just like slavery. You have to figure out how to fix these things and how to fix all the unseen things that are happening behind the scenes when you act in a certain way.
Man. And I resonate deeply with that. I got pulled over. I got pulled over in Fresno County. Insurance, everything. I mean, I got the right kind of car, all of that stuff. Toy, I think I called you and had you on speakerphone. And it was like, hey, I'm getting pulled over. And I just want to make sure that somebody's on the line with me. And I do it every time. I do it every time. If I've been pulled over 3 times, with in a no, I don't get pulled over a lot. So, but the 3 times that I can remember that I've been pulled over, it was like, oh my God, freak out. Toya, run, hurry up and bring me all of the stuff that I need, or I need somebody on the line with me, just for the whole process. I can imagine, Zani, what that must feel like then for you, Black males, Black men. I can't imagine what that feels like for you. Toya, I want to make space for you to check in.
I want to first say I'm super honored to even be on the call because I think that this is a space for our brothers, my brothers, to be able to share and talk. So I feel very necessary not to take up too much space. And I don't have a problem taking up space. I just feel it necessary not to do that. I don't want to necessarily focus on how I'm feeling. I want to share that last week I went to the laundromat because I'm not fortunate enough to have laundry in my house, but I went to the laundromat and it was night. And there was a Black man washing his clothes. I live in Galt, so it's not that many of us there. And I made sure to acknowledge him. We kind of spoke or whatever, just to acknowledge that we were both people of color in this laundry facility. And when he was leaving, I saw a car come out of a parking lot. No lights on or nothing, so I knew it was a police car. My clothes are in the machine. So I knew, grab your keys and follow. They followed this man all the way to the other side of town. I can't even imagine how he felt. I don't know what he had in his car, if he had anything in his car, if that even matters, But I felt compelled as a woman, as a Black woman, as another person of color, just to ensure that there was another set of eyes, Now, when he finally got to where he lived, or maybe he just turned a corner, he went ahead, the police, kept driving past, so they didn't stop him or anything. But I was so uncomfortable with that. And now I think about and that's now not the only time that I find myself stopping when I see a man of color being pulled over. What am I going to do other than panic? I mean, not very many people know me, Charles, my mama, and the people that are here around me all the time know I'm reactionary. I'm going to scream. I'm going to freak out, so I don't know what I would do. But I still feel so compelled to be there. Like, I have to be another set of eyes. I have to do something. But then the reality is, what can I do? Because I'll just be another dead body on the ground. I can't jump in. I can't do whatever. So I'm really feeling I don't, not feeling anything. I don't know what to do. What do we do in these situations? I don't know, Yeah.
I have a simple suggestion for most organizations. I think we need to learn to agree where we can agree, right? Within ourselves, within our different silos, within our different organizations. And from there, let's start to build the necessary things. Sorry, the light went out. The necessary things for us to be able to then attack these systems. Church had mentioned, about coming together and how we come together and why we can't come together. And I think for a large part, the reason why we have challenges is because there's so many things to disagree on, right? And we get caught up in those disagreements. And those disagreements enable us from being able to do the work that we need to do. And at some point, we have to get past that. At some point, we have to start to look at, okay, we don't necessarily agree on the left. We don't necessarily agree totally on the right, but here in the middle, there's a thing that we can all resonate with. And I think for the most of us in all of these different organizations and all these different silos, oppression, racism, classism, sexism, these are things that are relevant to us. And so because we have this mutuality there, the symbiosis there, we can start to build something there. And one of the things that I was telling someone else was that it's definitely okay for organizations to have their own thing, right? We need to learn how to work decentralized, where we all have our own things, but here we come together. Here is the place where we actually work together. We do things together. We fix things, right? And then we still work on our other things in our silos, but because we agree here, we can lean in and push in here and start to figure out how to deal with the systems that are in place, right? And like, remember, Tony, we had this conversation earlier when we met earlier on in the year, talking about how this thing works. Everybody's not a frontline soldier,
Right.
but everybody doesn't need to be. Everybody can't be. Everybody doesn't have the temperament. Everybody doesn't have the aptitude for that. Some people are lawyers. Some people, I love hearing Sister Lady Trina speak about how when she went to go meet with some of the elders who were protesting, they were talking about how there was just a specific group of people who couldn't get off work, but they would just bring food. You know, they would use a portion of their check, bring the food. Like these type of organizing theories and concepts and thoughts are really, really important to our mission and to what we need to do, to really to the bottom line deliverable, right? We need to stop something. We need to begin to build a coalition that works together and that can formulate some type of synergy to help to show the strength in numbers. And this is the way to do it. It's not to take away anybody's strength. It's not to take away anybody's ideas or thoughts, but it's to say, hey, these are the things that we collectively agree upon. Let's deal with this thing. And then if we have fights, let's have them internal. Let's not have them external.
Right.
Let's deal with one another the way we need to deal with one another. Let's hold each other accountable to the mission and to the goals. But also let's move with purpose and move with intent and direction. So that's my offer there in that space.
No, I absolutely agree with that. I appreciate that in a big way, because I agree wholeheartedly, Charles, with you in that. I know that it is more than a notion. However, I believe that it is doable. I believe that it is doable, not just on a local level, but on a state level as well. I believe that it's doable. Yeah, and we're going to have to. That's the only way that we're going to, especially, for example, the police officers' bill of rights. That thing is going to have to be attacked. That thing is going to have to be recalled. We need to. The only way that that's going to happen is if there are no big eyes or little U's, but we all come together. How can two walk together lest they agree? We're going to all need to come together and agree that this is what we need to work together and unify, in a unified front to do. And do that thing on the behalf of the community. So we're getting ready to check out. Zani, let me do a temperature check. On a scale from 1 to 10, where you hanging out at right now?
I'm chilling at like a 4 right now. Fruitful conversation. Leaves me knowing that we have a lot of work to do, but that there's people that have the mindset and are ready to actually do the work. So.
Okay, and my second question is, are you able to have some one-to-one conversations with folks in your circle to see if they need healing space, and then create a space just for them to talk about it? We can't fix it, but just the space for folks to come in and just talk and let some air out of their balloon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. How can people reach you if they need to tap in with you?
Can I put my
I
email
can
in?
put it in there.
Yeah.
Just email you.
Yeah, they can email me or they can call me, text me at any time.
Okay. So I put your email in there. And then so your name is Zani on social media. I know on Facebook. And so inbox him if you need to as well. Church, scale from 1 to 10. You want a temperature check? Where you at?
Like I say, I'm probably like a 2. I'm unbothered. Like when I
Mm,
say I'm unbothered, it's like I always wake up at a 10, ready to do whatever has to be done. So as far as like getting my temperature up, I say I'm at a 2 because I'm already on the 10.
Have you guys been creating some safe spaces, for folks to tap in with you guys if they need to?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I still do my I haven't been doing them live, but I still do my groups. We still do our groups where we get together and we chop it up and express our feelings and solutions to get by during the day and stuff like that.
Oh, all right. And so is there any way if there's folks that need to connect with you or to have some type of a resource just because they just need to talk some stuff out? Is there a way that they can connect with you or someone down there?
Oh yeah. Anybody can reach out to me, Facebook, Instagram. If you have my number, my email, just reach out to me. It's Joseph Truehill, Joseph Church Truehill, Facebook, Church at Love Life on Instagram. Reach out to me. I'll send you my number. We could talk. I'll give you the resources I have or whatever you need. I'm always available.
Okay, appreciate that. Charles, maybe you always seem like you just is so even keel. So, temperature check though, how are you doing?
You know, I'm good, man. Honestly, what I find myself doing now is trying to, because I know so many people in the fight. My thing has been in these last few months is how do we create other things for people to build into and other silos. So I've been working really aggressively in Sacramento. Shout out to Foreign Natives. Shout out to Chris and Play and some other people in Sacramento who've been helping me to build. But we've been building this Black business network of people, young Black professionals, and I'm talking about young. I feel old around these cats, so they all in their 20s, and I'm talking they really doing it. Some of them got their doctorate, some of them are in different silos and stuff. But we've been trying to build some synergy around how to create silos of opportunities for African Americans to be able to network and build together. Um, the background for me in that is that if we can create something together, we can also defend something together, right? Which is
Nice.
which is to defend one another and to be there to support one another as we go through these trying times. And so we've had about a good 45 different organizations come together in Sacramento at the co-op spot. We do a business mixer there every first Friday, starting at 6 o'clock. You can look it up online at thecoopspot.com. Shout out to Constance Carter, who owns the building. But we've been doing that, and we've been doing some other things around providing safe spaces and healing and healing conversations and opportunity to just talk it out, but also build it out as well. And so I've been thankful for that. And that's really kind of kept me at peace to know that in the midst of everything that's going on, we're really trying to build something sustainable for ourselves and for our children's children.
Mhm.
In addition to that, building a coalition of individuals who can, when the time calls, can be called upon to defend the narrative and speak to the issue of building Black. So I'm really, really excited and happy for that.
Okay, I'm looking for the website so that I could drop it in the chat for folks that might be interested in that.
Actually,
Um,
so it's Facebook, the co-op spot on Facebook and on Instagram.
okay.
You'll see a lot of the different flyers there. We have Kuhn the Poet that comes out very frequently. He's a part of the co-op spot. We have several others. In addition to that, we have the Cool Code and a couple of other young organizations out there that, like I said, they're really, really influential in the city and just kind of building it out. So.
Okay. And so, son,
Yes, ma'am.
temperature check scale from 1 to 10. Where
Uh,
you hanging out at?
I'm probably at a 3. I don't other than my, I'm like church, man. Other than the initial frustration and anger and all of what's going on, um, I'm not bothered by it, man, because I mean, I understand exactly what's going on. I understand uh, the strategy in which they want to see our communities in fear,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm one who wants to stop it. So, um, like I said, for me, I might wake up mad, but I can't really do much beyond what I'm already doing. Just continue to do the things I do to try to sustain our communities, where I'm at, and make sure that I collaborate with everybody else when we trying, like Charles said, when we trying to do things in a collective and collaborative manner, I'm always here for the people whenever.
So, when are you guys creating some safe spaces, for folks in the community to tap in if they need to just kind of de-escalate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always at this community center right here, 1024 North G Street in San Bernardino. We feed the people every Thursday. Um, I'm here, man. If it, I haven't stopped since COVID started, so whether or not COVID is a scare tactic, a pandemic, something we should take serious, whatever it is, I'm not going to forsake my folks. So if anybody needs to holler at me, I'm always around. You can holler at anybody on here, and if somebody will be able to get to me, man. So
What's the
I'm
name of the
always
community
here,
center there?
and it's Holy Land Community Center in San Bernardino, 1024 North G Street. I mean, you could look up Unity. You could go to the website unity.org. Uh, everything that has to do with what I do is there. You could email me admin@unity.org. Call my phone number. Um, whatever you need to be able to connect and get the resources you can from me. If I don't got it, somebody I know do. And like I said, man, I ain't gonna forsake my folks. I'm always gonna be here for people. They did to me what they did to me. And I feel like it's my duty to be able to give back.
Unity is with 3 E's, right? Is it with 3 E's?
I can't hear you. You keep breaking up.
Oh, is Unity with 3 E's or two?
Unity is with 3 E's. The E's are educate, enhance, and excel. So I made that for myself while I was in there and going through it and dealing with what I was dealing with, and I mean, the word unity speaks for itself, man. We got to be able to come together and do things as one rather than trying to be in a different space and do it individually and making it generalized for ourselves. I mean, we can't go nowhere forward if we trying to do it singular.
Yeah. Toya, scale from
Um,
1 to 10, where you hanging out at?
I'm like a 5. I'm not really either which way. Um, I wanted to say something to what Charles was saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep hearing it over and over in different conversations. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's something very, very important for us to grasp, um, that everyone isn't meant for the front line, and all I keep thinking when I hear stuff like that is purpose work, understanding where your value and what you bring to the table. I was just sharing this recently with my mom. The more I'm involved in this work, I'm realizing I'm not at the front. I really enjoy creating a space where people come in, it smells good, it looks good, maybe there is sandwiches, maybe there's whatever. I know that might be hospitality or whatever is considered, but I also do administration work, understanding that everybody plays a part. And I think a lot of times, I don't know if it's a Black community issue or every community issue, we get caught up on who gets the spotlight, but with all the stuff that's going on that we have to work on, we don't really have time for that. You know, if another organization is the one that's getting the spotlight, we still need to make sure we're all doing the work and understanding what part you play. Um, I don't know how we do that better. I don't know if that's some kind of spreadsheet where it's like, all right, the co-op spot, this is what they do. Okay. Faith in the Valley, this is what they do. And then maybe break it down from there. And at this place, at Advanced Peace, this is what they do, but this is what different people are good at. Like it really does. That's such a powerful thing if we're really doing it and knowing that that role you play is a big deal, So I don't know if that's another set of people working together to figure that out. But I do think that as we continue to move forward with the different crises that keep happening, traumatic things, these families that are having like losing family members, even with Josh, who's the people that step up and say, okay, I'm good at food. I'm going to make sure his family is fed every day. Okay, I'm good at collecting funds and fundraising. I got connects. How do we do that? Who does that? But we need that. So, yeah.
I really appreciate that. I'm looking for, and I can't find it now, so I'm going to have to double back and I'll drop it in the chat when I come back. Where I'm at. When I started off, I was probably at a 5. As we went into the conversation, I think I escalated to about an 8 or a 9 because I was literally shaking in my bones. Now, I'm coming down, so probably about a 3. As far as reaching out to me, folks, just shoot me an inbox message. You can email me, at tony@faithinthevalley.org. I'll drop that in at another time. You can message me. And so for me, we can have a one-to-one, we can have conversation. However, I want to also let you know I'm going to connect you with resources. So what I'm looking for here locally is the OWL movement has a resource called the Lighthouse, I believe. And so, I want to drop that in the chat. If you are triggered or find yourself to where you're getting to where you are becoming triggered, it's just too much. You're feeling some kind of way emotionally. Look for different signs. Depression. Just you don't even know why. You're sad. You're crying constantly. You just don't know why. You're finding yourself, being short with people, or angry. Just whatever it is. If you need to talk through a thing, this stuff is triggering. It's a lot that is going on. And it's a lot going on in our communities and around us. You need outlets. You need to have some folks that you can talk to and tap in with. So make sure that you connect with anyone of us that are in your communities. Church, you're in Oakland. I see you in the. I think you had something that you wanted to add in there. Oh, thank you, Ben.
Oh yeah, I just want to before I know we're about to get off, but I just want to say something to Toya. I think sometimes when you talk, I don't think you understand the value of the words that you have. Like I hear you say a lot of times, I'm not. This space isn't for me, or like any man filled with trauma has one thing to help him get out of that, and that's the strong woman behind him. Without you, there is no us. Like stop doing that to yourself. That's the third time I've heard you say something in the sense of that. I don't like it. I just wanted to let you know that I don't like when you do that because you have power in your voice. You are a powerful being. And you, like I tell you, you have gifts that are unmatched. They're gifted, amazing, never ending greatness that you have. Let it show. Like, we need you. We want to hear what you say. So don't never start your thing off like, I don't know why I'm here, or I don't need to be here. This is for, no, this is for you. That's why you're here. God put you in this place with us for you to be here. Period. So just remember that next time you say something.
She received it. That's what she said. I received it. So thank you. I've got everybody's contact information in here. Yes.
I just wanted to say thank you, church, because I've been sitting here biting my face the whole time because I want to get on Toya about that. She
I
knows
wasn't
that
gonna say that because I love her so much, but I was like, she can't keep doing that to me. I don't like it. I don't like it. She keeps throwing for this.
Nah, he telling you the real, like, every time you get in this space, like, we need your voice. Like, I look forward to what you or your mom gonna say, because I know it's gonna coincide with how we feel as being black men. Real talk. Like, y'all around, us and our kind more than probably anybody. I know Miss Tony, anytime she's doing something, she's always the only woman in the space, and you got it, sis. Like, you got a whole lot of power in your voice that we need. I know I'm not the most vocal. I'm a man of very few words, but at the same time, when I hear y'all voice and y'all speaking, man, it gives me something to say, because I want to reiterate, basically what's going on. So, don't take from yourself, man. Just like Church said, man, always push with the strength that you already have, man, because that's something that we feed off of, actually.
Yeah, your mom's cut from a different cloth. Then when you were born, she wrapped that motherfucker around you. So you got it. Period.
I do want to say as we're ending, this was encouragement I didn't know I needed today. So I am so grateful and I receive it. I try not to be emotional on cameras and stuff like that. Per something I was taught by my big brother Charles. But I really needed the words that you guys shared. So I thank you and I receive it.
She with us.
I'm
Yo,
with them.
Monty.
I'm with them. So I'm going to be true to myself and do this. So I'm going to wrap us up by praying. So Father God, I come before you and I'm asking right now that you would, by supernatural divine intervention, surround the communities of color, surround those that are being impacted by gun violence, that are being impacted by police brutality. God, that you would intervene in those areas that are having the riots and the protests and the demonstrations. Lord, we need justice from systemic oppression. And we are asking that you would step up in a very strong way, that you, Father, would comfort the mothers that have lost sons, lost daughters to gun violence and police brutality. God, we don't even know specifically what to ask, because this is so much bigger than us, but we do know to ask it of you. I thank you for each one that is here in this space and that has showed up in this space. I thank you for your protection over each one of these men and all that they are attached to. And I'm asking that you continue to cover them, cover Josh, heal his body of the gunshots and those others that have been shot and wounded and are in the need of healing. Heal our community, heal our land. You said if my people who are called by name, my name would humble themselves and pray, seek your face, turn from their wicked ways, that you would hear from heaven and that you would heal our land. God, I'm asking that you would heal our land. I'm asking that you would heal our land. I'm asking that you would heal our land. We ask this in your son, Jesus' name. Amen. Love y'all.
I love you too. I gotta
Love
go,
you too.
y'all. Love all y'all.
Always a
See y'all
pleasure,
later.
y'all. Always a pleasure, y'all.